Hi, everybody. Welcome to another podcast of Money Matters with Hill Financial Group. I am, of course, the Mike Hill in Hill Financial Group. Yes, I have that much just vainness that I put my name in that logo. So anyway, I got to bust out the trusty glasses. We asked some people to give us some maybe comments or subjects for a podcast, and that's why I'm in here, because I'm going to do my best to tackle this one. What would you do if you inherited or won $1 million? Oh, okay. So we've all probably had this fantasy. We've all seen the Texas lottery when it gives up to $400 million. I don't know about y'all. I've done the math in my head where I'm already calculating taxes, where I would put it, et cetera, et cetera. But what would you do if you won $1 million? Okay. First of all, if we're assuming it's all after tax is what we're going to do, because that isn't any fun to win $1 million and have to pay $300,000 or $400,000 in taxes. First of all, depending on your situation, I'd want to see how close you were to retirement, but I know that's really fun. But I would put some money in some tax-free municipal bonds. They're doing very, very well right now. Tax-free municipal bonds, you can get anywhere from 4.5% to 5% tax-free. Of course, there's risk with municipal bonds. Municipal bonds are with cities, with bridges, school municipalities, school boards, school districts, hospitals in some cases, but I like those, if nothing for half, because you can get 4 to 5%. Now you're spitting off close to $2,000 a month just on $500,000 tax-free. I like the idea of some other things you can invest into. I like putting it maybe down towards real estate. What you're not hearing me say is I'm using it to go blow on that expensive car or all that. That's not fun. Well, maybe I would put $100,000 aside for that, for your trips, for your fun car, whatever it may be, because I cannot tell you how many people that I've had that, unfortunately, I've seen this sometimes with widows, the husband passed away, or even the wife has passed away before, and they had $1 million life insurance policy. That's no fun, but it's tax-free and all the things. And because they're grieving, they'll go out and do a big purchase. So not to bring down the room here a little bit, but I've seen that happen multiple times. And when I say big purchase, maybe they go buy a $120,000 car. And honestly, they only make $50,000 to $60,000 a year. So yeah, the car may be paid off, but it appreciates so much. It's just like you burned $100,000 for no reason. It's hard to talk to somebody when they're in that state of mind. But that would be the first thing, is just be practical. Don't do anything for at least 3 to 6 months. I don't even mean invest it. Andy, put it in 3 or 4 different accounts. Because you have FDIC. Another thing that I always get is, Mike, I got it $250,000 per account in the FDIC. Here's another trick. FDIC insurance only goes up to $250,000 at your banks. So if you're going to put money in a bank and not take money out, put in about $240,000, because if you're earning 4 to 5% interest, that's about $10,000 to $12,000 a year. If the bank goes under and your $240,000's grown, if it goes under in year 2, you might have $255,000 in there. But if you started with $250,000, you might have $260,000, $270,000. The bank goes under, you're only going to get a check for $250,000. So I always tell people, put in about $10,000 to $15,000 less than the $250,000 FDIC number. Hopefully that's some good advice. But I get this all the time too. I get clients that have passed away. Doing this 28 years, it's happened more than I'd like. But you get clients that pass away and their beneficiaries inherit that money. And you get some beneficiaries that are smart with it. They invest it. They treat it just like their parents did. They're good stewards. And then, of course, we all have them in our family that you can name which one it is. If you got brothers and sisters, which one's going to go to this money in a year? One thing that I would suggest to clients, especially clients that are over 55, is if you have a financial advisor, if you're one of our clients, if you don't have a financial advisor, you do it on your own. Anybody, if you have assets, any kind of assets, a house, a car, investable assets, a 401k, 55, 60 and older, I would sit down with your kids and what you're comfortable sharing with them, go over your assets, not just your wife. Because if you pass away, in some cases, your wife might be so heartbroken, she doesn't know what to do, what goes through probate, what doesn't go through probate, what steps do I need to do, what things do I need a death certificate for, et cetera, et cetera. I always like to get the beneficiaries involved before clients pass away, just to know what to maybe expect, number one. But number two, the last thing I want to do is meet a child's son or daughter at the funeral for the first time. Oh, come in next week if you don't mind. I know you're grieving right now. Can you come in next week? Because we got to talk about your dad's accounts. Never a good situation. So I can't stress enough. I kind of went off the subject here, but I can't stress enough. if you're getting a little bit older, have your kids come in with you to at least one financial planning meeting with your financial planner, or even with yourself in your house. Have that, go through the assets. You don't even need to go through, well, who's getting what. Just let them know what's going on, what to expect. Here's the number to call if anything happens to us. Here's the insurance where it's at. These are the people you need to talk to if anything ever happens to you. Will you please help your mother? Or in some cases, will you please help your father? He's clueless if I was to pass away. So if you want $1 million, the other thing is that's fun is I definitely want you to invest some of it. I want you to invest it in assets that have leverage. I love real estate. So if I have $400,000 to invest, I might get 4 houses at $400,000 each and put $100,000 down on each one of them. And I may have to pay, I know what you're going to think, Mike, 7%, 8% mortgages right now. But with $100,000 down, and that it comes out to, even if my rent only pays for my costs, which honestly, your rent should pay more than your cost of your mortgage, your taxes, and your insurance. But if your rent is the same, if you have 4, you now diversified. You got 4 different houses. Then you get a property manager to help. So you don't got to go over there and mow the yard and change the furniture. You get a property manager to help you do that. But now you got 4 houses. You're going to look up 20, 25 years later, pay a little bit more on that mortgage from the rent. You're going to look up and all 4 houses are paid off. And if all 4 of those houses just grow at 4 to 5% a year, you're looking at 20 years into a portfolio that you started with $400,000 down, that you inherited whatever it may be. 20 years later, you now have over $2 million of paid off real estate that you could keep renting, or you could liquidate one at a time to help you during retirement and go nuts. I know that isn't quote unquote sexy, but you want to know how to turn $400,000 into $2 million relatively simply. That would be a way to do it. It just takes time. So that was another thing that I would do. I'd have some tax-free assets over here. Then I'd maybe put $100,000 into a $150 to $200 in a stock portfolio that's very aggressive, liquid, but be aggressive. Leave it alone. You could have an NVIDIA in there. You could have some stocks in there that might go nuts. Have enough money in there that it'll make a difference, but not so much money in there that you're looking at it every day. So that's kind of how I'd split it up if I was to do it. Have a real estate portfolio, have a tax-free portfolio, then have your wild stock portfolio, and maybe with 50 to 100,000, go get a car or something like that you really enjoy, so you don't feel like, man, I didn't get anything. Mike's no fun. Or your vacations, yes, but for 10% of what you get, not 90%. I can't stress that enough, because $1 million, unfortunately, with inflation and everything else, does not go near as far as it used to. I don't even know what to think when I hear athletes make $250 million a year, or $250 million over 5 years, or $300 million over 6 years. It's those numbers are insane to me. But I just want to wrap up with, I think the one takeaway that I want you to have is 1,000%. If you're older, and I don't mean too much older, but if you're older, 50, 55, 60, and your kids are grown, definitely meet with them on who they need to contact, who they need to see, if y'all were to pass away tomorrow. Where's your power of attorney? It doesn't just need to be you and your spouse. At 1,000%, you need to get 1 or 2 beneficiaries involved. So that way, if something was to happen and you're going to be so grief-stricken, you have somebody that was there when you went over everything. I can't stress that enough. Well, that's the reason we use eMoney in our office. Love that tool. I can go over that in more detail. If you ever come in our office, I'd show it to you. But just tools that show you where everything is in one place. I can't stress enough. So maybe not the funnest answer to if you win $1 million. Now, if you win 10, let's go nuts. Okay. But hopefully I gave you some advice. If you do inherit money, see a financial advisor first. Do not do anything for at least 3 months. That's my other advice, is if you inherit or win, whatever it may be, do nothing but put it in a bank and do some research and get a financial planner or an accountant to help you. I would not stress that enough. It's a lot to overtake, especially the tax implications by yourself. Find an expert that you can trust and go forward. So hopefully that helps. That's Mike Hill with Money Matters, Hill Financial Group. Have a great rest of your spring. Have a very happy Easter next month. Take care and God bless.